So recently I wanted to learn Rust, and so I did a project where I created a maze generator. And so here you can see all of the crates I used, which is basically modules or libraries, the equivalent of modules or libraries. These are the constants I set up, and then this is my main function. This code right here just gets the difficulty from the user, and then it passes that difficulty to generate maze. So when you come to generate maze, you can see that it first starts by creating an empty grid. So down here, this is the empty grid, and what it does is it creates a 2D vector with an array of booleans that's 5 long. It sets the size based off the difficulty and the constants that I set up, and then it initializes a 2D vector, and then for each spot in the vector it puts the array there, so that this is 4 truths representing each wall, and then a false representing if the cell has been visited or not. So you can come back up here to the next line of the generate maze. So it's generate with next it generates with recursive randomized depth first. And so you come down here, that just goes to RDF, which is the recursive function, and it passes grid to that, and then passes 0, 0, so that it will start at the top left cell. And so in RDF, basically what happens is it finds a cell next to it that hasn't been visited, then it goes through, so first of all, it finds if there are cells next to the current one that aren't visited, and if there are, then we'll go through and it will select one of those unvisited cells next to the current cell. It will then open the corresponding wall in the current cell and the corresponding wall in the next cell. And then on the next cell, it will call RDF, passing it grid. And the next cell X, the X position of the next cell and the Y position of the next cell. And then it will just check again. Once it has gone through this and it gets back here, it will check again to see if there's any unvisited, and then it will run all this again and call RDF on a cell around it that's unvisited. And then finally it creates the SVG file. So that just is passed the grid and difficulty. Based on the difficulty, it calculates the settings. It then creates the outline, and then it goes through each cell and each wall of each cell, and basically just draws a wall if there should be one there. And then up here, that basically is just creating the endpoints. And so right here, it will create a path that goes through each of those endpoints and create a line between it. Then this basically just puts that into the document and creates the document, and then saves the document, and then it will tell the user that the SVG file has been created.